as we've talked about, one of the really embarrassing characteristics or notable elements of Trump's now finished criminal trial in Manhattan was that not one single time did his wife, supposedly, Melania Trump, show up to show her support. And if you know anything about sort of the PR around politicians, when you get into legal trouble, the first thing, if you have a wife, that you do and family is to have them by your side, right? Those that know you best is the idea, are by your side and supportive of you. And Trump couldn't even get Melania to support him in that way. Obviously, we saw Don Jr., Eric Trump, and the B team appearing to show their support for their dad, but not the most notable figure, Melania Trump. And so this is continuing, and we have some reporting out that is so devastating and embarrassing. And I will get to a former best friend of Melania Trump's sort of take on this situation in a second. But first, Raw Story reports Melania distancing herself from Trump and probably won't return to the White House, according to a report. Melania Trump won't likely spend much time in Washington, D.C. if her husband gets reelected to a second term, according to those who follow her activities. The former First Lady was so reclusive during Donald Trump's first term in office that many wondered whether she lived at the White House or with her parents in the suburbs. And Melaniaologists surveyed by Axios speculated that she would most likely spend a potential second term splitting time between Palm Beach and New York, where son Barron is rumored to be attending NYU. Quote, she's distancing herself even more from her husband and from the Washington social political scene, said Kate Anderson Brower, who's written several books about the White House and First Ladies. I mean, she clearly hated being in Washington. She views the role of First Lady, oh gosh, I think her and Donald are actually perfect for each other. She sees the role of First Lady as unelected, not paid, said Mary Jordan, a Washington Post. So think about this. The amount of power, influence, and the tools that are at your disposal. You have a whole office working for you as the First Lady to go do some good things. But I'm not getting paid, so who cares? That's Melania Trump's stance. And of course, we remember at the beginning of Trump's presidency, the first time around, hopefully there won't be a second time around, but when he first came into office, Melania was absent, and the reporting was that she was refusing to go to D.C. until her prenup was negotiated with Donald Trump, or renegotiated. So just love gushing, romanticism gushing out between the two of them. The Independent reports Melania unlikely to return to D.C. if Trump wins election, experts say, and it goes on to break down what we talked about. So this is brutal, but the unfortunate thing is it probably won't sway MAGA, right? If all the other stuff didn't, this is not going to. But it reminds me of what we talked about in a different segment, and we have so many times, which is that if all these people within Trump's administration, who used to be, I should say, in Trump's administration, who came out and said, this guy's unfit, if all those people don't think Trump's fit to be president, again, we just recently went through some examples of people who were in the most important rooms, seeing Trump make the most important decisions, saying, this guy is a threat to democracy as we know it, as Mark Esper was saying. If those people don't trust Trump and don't think he's fit to be president, why should you? People who saw him in rooms you'll never be in, I'll never be in, who saw these incredibly important moments where Trump's critical thinking or lack thereof is on full display, and they say, don't let this guy anywhere close to the White House. Many of them lifelong Republicans saying they disagree with Biden on so many things, but please vote for him because he's the one who will actually uphold the Constitution and our democratic process. So that is sort of similar to this. If Trump's own wife can't be supportive of him, why should you be? That's, I guess, the takeaway here. Ron Filipkowski a little while ago posted this hilarious post. Statement from Melania Trump supporting her beloved husband. And you can see it's just a blank white screen. Did not hear much from Melania post-conviction. Ron Filipkowski also posted this on Mother's Day. No Mother's Day message from Trump. We ended up getting it, and it was Happy Mother's Day, even to the degenerate. And then he went on, Marxist communists who hate me. And Filipkowski says, hosting this Mother's Day dinner, but no sign of Melania again, and describes it as a fake marriage. Hey, to each their own, I guess. And we'll skip past that one. But then you have Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, who was formerly employed by Melania Trump and apparently a close friend of her. And she appeared on Midas Touch just yesterday to say this.
And now here we have a woman, a mother, a wife, who has not been by her husband's side whatsoever. And I would say several years ago, she would have been there more. Now, after the conviction that Donald has just faced with the hush money criminal felony case in New York City, she's going to be around less and less. He will continue to move forward. His base doesn't need her there. Nor do they really, would it really change the dial in whether or not they would consider him as their be-all, end-all, because they will. But as far as Melania is concerned, she's going to keep her head low. She's going to...
Yeah, so a similar message there being espoused on Midas Touch. And so there's the political side of this, right? I try to keep my analysis out of the personal, but let me just say in a very general sense, and maybe this is me being naive and a gooey romantic, but why would you want to be in this type of arrangement, we'll call it? Don't you want to find your soulmate? I guess not. Not everybody. Here's some CNN reporting about a statement that was sent out that was very strange on Mother's Day.
All right, Justin, does anything say I love you more than a fundraising email based on the litany of criminal charges against you? So Donald Trump just sent out a fundraising pitch that reads, Dear Melania, I love you. Even after every single indictment, arrest, and witch hunt, you never left my side. By those standards, there is a lot to stand beside this week, tomorrow.
So I guess that was back on Valentine's Day. Did I say Mother's Day? That was Valentine's Day. And the message that was sent to her was through fundraising email, at least in part. And it was, I love you. Thank you for being by my side, even though in a very literal sense, she's never by his side, it seems. And he's trying to become the most powerful person in the world. Do you understand how embarrassing this is? Trump seemingly doesn't care. MAGA doesn't, but I'd be devastated. This is supposed to be the person who supports you more than anyone else. Till death do us part, baby. But instead, it's till second campaign do us part. Sort of, not technically, they're staying together. I'm just saying, in her appearances with Trump. And if she believed in the cause, which I don't know why she would, but we've learned that she has pretty vile views herself, clearly. But if she believed in Trump's gonna save America, why wouldn't she devote all her resources? And I'm gonna show you what a supportive first lady or former first lady actually looks and sounds like in just a little bit. But first, as a little flashback for fun, do you remember when Melania Trump did a sort of anti-bullying campaign and it just didn't make much sense given who her husband is?
In helping our children manage the many issues they are facing today. This means encouraging positive habits with social media and technology, even limiting time online. I'm asking you all to join me today and commit to promoting values such as encouragement, kindness, compassion, and respect in our children.
Let's teach our children to have respect for one another, to treat people with kindness, to be compassionate. And we're gonna uproot the vermin in this country. And they're poisoning the blood or whatever. Yeah, not so much. So you have that version. That's an option of what your spouse could be doing in a campaign. some people, like Jill Biden and almost every other first lady in the history of the country, chooses to be a little bit more out front and supportive. And I think Joe Biden genuinely believes in the mission of this campaign. And here she is, as being shown by CNN.
But Donald Trump, he spent a lifetime tearing us down and devaluing our existence. He mocks women's
This was at a Women for Biden event, to be clear.
bodies, disrespects our accomplishments, and brags about assault. Now he's bragging about killing Roe v. Wade. Donald Trump is dangerous to women and to our families. We simply cannot let him win.
CNN senior.
Yeah, so that could be what Melania Trump is spending her time doing. But instead, it's like Where's Waldo with with Melania Trump. You can rarely find her, except for little moments where she is walking to the car with her super expensive purse. I saw that happen recently, and people were discussing how expensive it was. But it shows to me, like I said, a lack of dedication to whatever the mission is for them. And I wish MAGA would see it as the sort of phrase a lot of people have been using: if she can't support him, why are you supporting him? But you know what? Even set that aside. Let's ignore that. Fine. Instead, I do wish they would think about two extra things. And then I'll wrap this baby up on this segment. So the first is sort of, hey, even if you don't care about Trump's wife's feeling, the former first lady, Melania Trump, about him, and not feeling motivated to stand by his side, what about all the people who worked with him? So she wasn't in the Situation Room, but these other people who were say, don't let this guy anywhere close. Okay, so that I wish MAGA would focus on. But then also, it is another party of family values thing where it makes sense Melania wouldn't want to go show up at the courthouse for the trial relating to Trump paying off and then trying to cover up that payment to a porn star that he was cheating on Melania with, and who was spanking him with a magazine with his face on it. That's unrelated, but just like to throw that in there occasionally. And who, while he was having his rendezvous with her, he allegedly said, when Stormy Daniel asked about Melania Trump, he said, well, if I forget the exact wording, but it was something like, if she left me, do you think I would be on the market very long? Ugh. She didn't seem to care if Melania left him. And you probably wouldn't want to go stand by the husband in that situation. So that's understandable, I guess. But then why doesn't MAGA care about all those violations of the party and family values stuff? I don't know. Melania Trump was home with a newborn when Trump was out cheating. And they don't care. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. Why? Tell me, please. Is Melania so absent? And why is Joe Biden so much cooler? You could tell me in the comments. And then if you want to get the extra episode of the show, you can do so by clicking the join button below. Every weekday, we're doing a whole extra show for just our members. And it's so fun because we sort of let loose, just members hanging out. And it's a good time. You can get access to that by clicking the join button below.